And we are live with Adam and Jake on the movies. I'm Jake.
I'm Adam.
And every week we get together, we watch a movie, and then we answer 6 or 7 questions about the movie. And then we give our, if we would recommend it, which is ironic that we would go through and give a bunch of spoiler alerts. And then at the end, we would go through and recommend it to other people.
Exactly.
But that's the circus world that we live in these days. So this movie we did Rewrite, which was a 2014 movie by written and directed by Mark Lawrence, starring Hugh Grant. Do you have a synopsis, or do you do it?
I do have one.
Okay.
Maybe if it lets me read it here. An Oscar-winning writer in a slump leaves Hollywood to teach screenwriting at a college on the East Coast, where he falls for a single mom taking classes there.
Ding, ding, ding. It's also starring Marissa Tomei and Hugh Grant. You're a big Hugh Grant fan, are you?
You know, I don't know if I would have said a big Hugh Grant fan, but this movie, I like him. I like him.
Okay.
The movie, I like him.
You strike me as one of those people that likes the British bad boy types.
Yeah.
Maybe it goes back to the Robbie Williams.
Yeah, I can see that.
Robbie Williams. So that's why I just assumed that you liked Hugh Grant.
I do like them. I'll say this. I've not seen a Hugh Grant movie that I don't like.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, so great. You had not seen this before. Actually, I've only seen this one time too. I saw this a few weeks ago. What was your initial reaction after the movie?
I thought it was nice. I thought it was a nice little movie. It was small. It had characters that I liked. I thought they were diverse enough to make them interesting, and it was enjoyable. I liked it. What about yourself?
Yeah, I thought it was sweet. I thought it was really sweet. I thought it was a good story. I really appreciated the filmmaking aspects of it, because there was a lot of jabs really at the film business and jabs at writing and stuff like that. So I thought it was good. I didn't, it didn't blow me away, but I wasn't really expecting it to, because I'd never heard of it, and it's Hugh Grant and Marissa Tomei. So I was like, it's just going to be pretty good. But yeah, I liked it. What's something that you kind of wish you could change about it, or is there anything you would change about it?
No, I think it's an hour and 47 minutes. So I thought the runtime was a little bit long, but that's always my criticism. But I think it would maybe trim a little bit here and there. Like when at the faculty meeting at first, when he gets off on the wrong foot, there's a few little, I think that goes on a little too long. There's another part where I think it's him and Marissa Tomei are like kind of getting to know each other. It's before anything really happens between them. Maybe trim, 10, 15 seconds off that. It would probably only take 2 to 3 minutes off the movie, like the suggestions that I would have. But, an hour and 45 minutes for a romantic comedy kind of like this, I can handle that. What about yourself?
Yeah. I agree. I think there was a little bit too much in there. I think Hugh Grant's character, I wasn't as crazy about his characters. I really wish I would have gotten more characters, more character. I feel like there were a lot of characters, but there wasn't enough of the ones that were there. So it sounds like, can we cut some of them? The first person I would cut would be Allison Janney's character.
Okay.
I would cut Allison Janney because she doesn't offer anything to the movie. Her character does, but she doesn't. So right. I would recast her as somebody who's a little tougher and maybe a little bit more unknown, because I don't feel like, I feel like she's there she was a day player. They got her for one day.
Okay.
And she just doesn't add much to it, because Allison Janney is one of my favorites. And I think if you would have done more with her character, I think she could have been better, or just get rid of her and bring somebody else in. I think that would have helped take attention away from that.
Okay.
Were you gonna say something?
Well, I was going to say I knew that she was one of your favorites, so
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised to hear you say that.
Yeah, she just wasn't used as well as I thought she could be. Um, what do you think about the Hugh Grant's character's arc? His name is Keith Michaels.
You know, I didn't like that name, Keith Michaels.
It's a very
It,
rock star name.
yeah, yeah, and he's an Englishman, so
What
that
what name would you give him?
oh, I don't know. I haven't really thought of that. Um,
Richard Brinkley.
I was going to say Richard. I was really going to say Richard.
I think it's the Keith Richards and
Okay.
the I don't know.
But yeah, I didn't think the name. I mean, it didn't bother me. But when I looked up his exact name again, just like reading it, I was like, that's you can tell that's a made up name. It just sounds like
Yeah,
a
especially for this guy.
yeah. I liked his. I mean, I knew what his arc would be basically. But I liked it. I thought it was a nice little arc. It fit the mold of what I thought, the third act of this type of movie would have, and it ended about like I expected. And his arc was, um, I don't want to use this as the negative term. I know it's often used that way, but formulaic. You know,
Hmm.
I knew that his arc was going. I just knew what it was going to be. But
Yeah.
it was nice and charming, and I didn't mind it. What about yourself?
I thought that I would have loved to see more up front.
Okay,
I think there wasn't enough up front for us to really see where he started from,
right.
to see where he's at. I mean, he told us a lot of things up front, but he didn't do a lot of things up front. So I would have, yeah, I guess he went from like LA West Coaster to New England academic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess there was a bit of a jump there, but I don't know. I think starting off, I would have done a little bit more with his character, but where it finished up, okay, I got it. But like you said, it was kind of the journey,
Yeah.
less about the destination.
The only thing they really did, like, they put a little joke in there, and where he's going through the security at the airport, and they open up the bag, and he has his Oscar in there.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
I didn't know how I felt about that. Now I know that was placed in there so they would recognize him as the screenwriter of his movie. Um, I thought they could have done that a little bit better.
Yeah. The
But yeah, I didn't dislike that.
the whole movie itself felt like a low budget movie.
Low budget, yes.
It and not even low budget like, we're making this for $10 million, but low budget like we hired some people who have done short films before.
Yeah, like yeah. There was a couple of shots that I thought that at one point too.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like a lot of what I would see at film festivals and not what I would think you would see from a film that has Allison Janney, Chris Elliott,
Marissa
uh,
Tomei, J.K. Simmons,
J.K. Simmons.
Grant.
So you could tell they came on board because of the writer,
Yeah.
because he's a big deal. But I thought it was a little low budgety, which I thought was weird. What about other characters? I'll go first there. I told you I didn't like Allison Janney's character, but I liked Karen Gabney, who's the girl that his student that he has like this love affair with early on.
Yeah.
I thought she was really good because right when they meet each other in Wendy's,
Yep. And
Wendy's, you kind of get this feel of like, oh, but oh,
Yeah.
like something weird's happening here, but you kind of you're like okay with it. Because I thought it was well done. I thought her character was well done.
Her character was well done. She did her. What was the actress's name?
The actress's name is Bella Heathcote, but
Okay.
the character's name is Karen
Karen.
Gabney.
I thought she did a good job as well.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. And I thought it was interesting that they painted her like up front. One time she's like, she basically says, I don't mind if we go out, but just let me know if this is a strictly sexual thing that we're going to have. I think that takes him off guard a little bit. But that's kind of, I didn't think it should take him off guard because he's from the Hollywood
He's
world.
from LA. Like that's life out there.
He mentions later on how he had, kind of went through the ranks of the Hollywood when he's talking about how his wife had left him for the director of the movie that he wrote. So it's not like he hasn't had younger women before. So but I thought they did a good job with it though.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip music. Do you want to do music?
I mean, the music I didn't think added anything. It wasn't bland. It wasn't great. It was what
Just
I
there.
expected. Yeah.
Did you have a scene that you really liked?
I thought about this throughout the entire movie, and there wasn't a scene that I thought that stood out as my favorite scene, but I did like the scene where J.K. Sim like Hugh Grant goes to J.K. Simmons' house and knocks on the door, and he's in there watching Eat, Pray, Love with his family.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little dialogue out there, and he's like, J.K. is pretty much just like, keep talking so I don't have to go back in there. And then J.K. Simmons starts talking about, I can't remember what he talks about, but it turns awkward, and then there's just this awkward silence, and that's kind of the end of the scene. That I thought that was nice. There was a couple of odd moments that I felt that they put in there just to make them odd.
Yeah.
Like maybe like the kid that's always he always has like the Yoda shirt with his sunglasses on. Star Wars. I can't remember his character's name. I don't know. It just seemed like some were just odd to be odd, but it didn't bother me though.
Yeah, there was like a lot going on. Like especially you add all these other characters, and then they got their little arcs, like him getting into the fraternity. I think it was his character tried to get into a fraternity or whatever. I thought that was a little odd. I don't.
She does nothing but talk about like she's always mentioning Dirty Dancing and like Disney. Doesn't she mention Disney movies like
Yeah.
stuff like that? So
I liked Marissa Tomei's first real interaction with him, because I really liked Marissa Tomei's character. I thought she was really good in this movie. I've not seen a lot of Marissa Tomei's movies. Apparently, she's really, really, really good.
She's good and everything.
Yeah, because she won like an Oscar for best supporting actress in My Cousin Biddy.
When she was young, I mean, when she was in her 20s.
But so her first piece with him, I thought was really, really, really good. And really, in most times that they show up, the only time I didn't like is the scene that she had with her little kids where they were dancing.
Yeah.
Because when I looked at that scene, I was like, she's dancing with two of these kids that they hired to be in this movie with her. It just didn't feel natural. It just like there was just little tiny moments like that are like, this is an independent, low budget movie. But I don't know. But yeah, I thought it.
Not like the classroom just looked like a low budget classroom. His it. If it was something that like we were using, it'd be like, oh wow, okay, great.
Yeah, but, people would be really impressed if we did this movie.
Yes. It was like if it were us doing it, sure, but you've got all these, huge actors and actresses, so it was a little. The production value wasn't. I don't want people to think it's terrible, but it's about what you would expect maybe us to do.
Yeah. I mean, this is the guy that did Miss Congeniality, 2 Weeks Notice. Like, he's done some decent stuff, but it looked like, again, something. And then this kind of leads into our last question of just kind of final thoughts on it. I think that it's a fun little movie. It might be a good little date movie or something like that, where you've got nothing to do and you just need something light. It's pretty light. It's got some recognizable characters in it. The humor's okay. It's got good moments, but it's not great.
Yeah.
It does. If you are a filmmaker, then you will definitely see that this guy knows his craft as a writer. But it's again not gonna blow anybody's socks off their feet.
It's a nice double. It's a double. Or maybe a nice single in baseball. A single or a
Oh,
double?
a double. Okay, okay. There's a sports reference that you
Oh,
had
yeah,
there. I was a little
the rare
confused.
baseball reference.
Yes. But yeah, I thought it was, it's worth a little watch. If you're in the film business, maybe it's definitely worth a little watch. But um, yeah, that's my final thoughts.
My final thoughts are similar to yours. I might. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but I might. It's not one that I wouldn't rule out watching it again.
Yeah.
Um, but if I did, it would probably be like a background movie, or occasionally I would sit up and watch a few scenes, get back to writing or whatever like that. But
Yeah.
I think it's a fun little charming movie with some nice moments. Like you said, nothing groundbreaking, nothing totally original. But if you like Hugh Grant, he's a little bit different Hugh Grant than I've seen him in the past. Because I could tell in this movie, this movie was the most recent Hugh Grant movie that I'd seen. I've mainly seen old, ones in the '90s and 2000s, so I could tell he had aged. But I thought he fit the role of this character pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a good job. And Marissa Tomei was. I've only seen her maybe 5 or 6 things, but she's really good in this as well.
A lot of really good actors working a lot of good characters pushing their way through a decent story.
Yeah.
So, but there you have it. Do we have something for next week?
There has been a recommendation.
Oh Lord, it's not a like pluck your fingernails off movie, is it?
Well, it's a sequel to a movie called The Shining.
Which I've never seen The Shining.
I know. I don't think you have to see The Shining to have seen this.
Okay.
But The Shining is a slow burn, but I don't know. I would like to get your thoughts on that.
On The Shining?
Well, yeah, at some point, yeah, because it's
Okay.
not. It's not. When I first watched it, which was only all the way through last year, it wasn't what I expected.
Okay.
But the movie is called Doctor Sleep, and that's been it's been a recommendation given today.
Okay. Let's do it. Dr.
So,
Sleep.
yeah, that one's been. Hold on, just 1 second.
Oh boy.
Okay. I just heard something outside, and I was like, "Is someone knocking at the door?" But it's somebody putting a yard sale sign in the in the ground. So that's a recommendation. If you want to dive into that, we might have a guest if we do that one. But if you have one on your mind,
It's okay, it's a Stephen King. All right, let's do it. Was The Shining Stephen King?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. All right, cool. Let's do it. So we'll be back next week with Dr. Sleep. Ooh, it's a long one, too.
I've never seen it either.
Oh, snap. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Adam and Jake Are the Movies. I'm Jake.
And I'm Adam.
And we will be back with the Other People Show momentarily.
See you guys.